Suspicion, a new spine-chilling thriller coming to Apple TV Plus, has drawn the huge name of Uma Thurman. It's about the award-winning sitcom Bogus Flag, which Apple purchased a year ago. The series is set to return for a second season, which will undoubtedly be even more exciting than the first. Here's everything we know. So, will it be renewed or canceled? There's currently no information on whether Suspicion will be renewed or canceled. If the series is revived for a second season, filming and post-production might take close to a year. By 2023, the show will be back for a second season, but there is currently no fixed date. The 8-part series premiered with 2 episodes on Apple TV Plus on Friday, February 4th, 2022, with the remaining 6 episodes airing every Friday after that. The remaining 6 episodes will then be shown week after week, a short time later each Friday. Next, Suspicion raises too many doubts. Apple became the first company in history to attain a market capitalization of $3 trillion. While this was surely a cause for celebration for the 45-year-old firm, it doesn't appear that any of the funds were used to hire skilled writers for their new Apple TV Plus thriller series Suspicion. Unless you're really bored, you should save yourself the enthusiasm for a more interesting show. Catherine Newman, played by Uma Thurman, is a communication strategist who only works with villains. Cooper Newman Public Relations is a firm that specializes in creating a version of reality that is generally at conflict with someone else's. Her son Leo, played by Garen Howell, is abducted at the Park Madison Hotel in New York City by 5 criminals wearing flabby royal rubber masks. The kidnappers upload the kidnapping footage to the internet, where it quickly goes viral and becomes a meme. That's the gist of the show, but let's dig a little deeper and find any possible narratives for the next season. Let's go. Up next, the casting is too diverse to aid in the show's popularity for a new season. The cast of Suspicion is like the Benetton of Suspects, in that its diversity is superficial and kind of theatrical. As Adesh Chopra, a hacker who gets jailed in his family home where he lives with his wife, older brothers, and his carpet cleaning company owner's parents, Kunal Nair makes the most of a terrible situation. In this scenario, Georgina Campbell portrays financial consultant Natalie Thompson, who gets arrested at her wedding in a scenario that is nowhere near as good as the Hang the DJ episode from Black Mirror. Tara McAllister, played by Elizabeth Henstridge, does her best Keira Knightley impression and gets hauled out of a class at Oxford University. Some of the only solid acting in the episode comes from Tom Rhys-Harry's performance as Eddie Walker, a failure who doesn't appear to be anything other than a lazy college student who surprisingly finds the energy to party in New York. However, there are more standout performances, such as from Nancy Crane as Nancy Harper, and a tough guy parody of Diane Walters, who conducts a scathing live interview of Catherine. What is this show's style comparable to? One could compare the show's style to Suspect Interrogation to that of Rashomon, but it would imply a level of kindness that Suspicion does not merit. Every aspect of this production, from the clothes to the language, the soundtrack, the director, and the cinematography, often comes across as the work of an AI program that fed the Jason Bourne and Mission Impossible films. Both movies include quick writing, excellent directing, and most significantly, captivating acting. The writers of Suspicion are utilizing so many antiquated conspiracy thriller cliches that people are starting to question whether the show is supposed to be set in the early 2000s. Gilad Banamram, who previously worked on Fada, offered a dreary synth and bass-heavy background soundtrack, but it's no suitable for a good narrative. The post-9/11 tug-of-war between British and American officials is perhaps the most overused character dynamic. Noah Emmerich, who plays Scott Anderson, an FBI official who comes to England to aid the inquiry, must be as bored as Thurman. Vanessa Okoye, played by Angel Colby, a by-the-book cop and chief interrogator from the UK's National Crime Agency, contrasts oh so unoriginally with his boisterous, gun-blazing approach. So rather than Israelis who managed to be in Moscow just before an assassination, our eclectic band is charged with kidnapping the sole child of a criminal boss-style PR sorcerer. The kidnappers are not looking for money. Instead, they blanket social media, and it appears the whole internet with 3 T's. Tell the truth. Why could this show be canceled? The statement, which was targeted at Catherine, became a famous hashtag, sparked international protests, and even became material for cable news analysis. When the audience learns what the truth refers to, it's late in the game, and it sheds an unwanted light on the show's ideological foundation. Suspicion appears to imply that people who question the status quo are often just as ethically corrupt as those who spread false information. Everything about this show, even its pedigree, story is perplexing. Jennifer L. makes an appearance with her sister Catherine during a 2-minute sequence. The pilot was directed by Chris Long, the acclaimed and award-winning filmmaker and executive producer of The Americans. Even the costume and hair departments take the easy way out. Adesh's whole family wears red, orange, and yellow practically all of the time. They're Indian, which is rather unique. Catherine's long, straight hair is slightly curled at the ends, giving her the appearance of a long blonde tree at her back, and her outfit screams insurance firm middle manager. Although good components might sometimes lead to a superb end product, in this case, nearly none of the ingredients were of high quality to begin with. Suspicion raises far too many questions without answering any of them. Next, the Suspicion Season 2 possible story. The series follows 5 average British people whose lives are turned upside down when they are suspected of being the masterminds behind an abduction. When the London police discover the group of 3 women responsible for kidnapping Leonardo, they must devise a strategy. Unlike other kidnappers who want a ransom, this kidnapper merely asks for the truth. They plaster banners with the words, "Tell the truth," all over social media, leaving many questions unanswered. Season 1 hasn't yet aired in its entirety yet, so the second season's narrative remains a mystery. There is no way of knowing what awaits us in the second installment until all 8 episodes from Season 1 are released. Debasement, the abuse of force by notable people, and the murky side of espionage and web-based media are all addressed in this thrilling voyage. Natalie recognizes Sean as the gentleman on the bicycle and recognizes him as the person who has been trying to extort her for a long time. As Tara becomes agitated about killing someone, Eddie then collapses due to his physical problems, and as Sean keeps an eye on him, Adesh dials his phone, which was probably a serious mix-up. Meanwhile, Sean informs Tara that he notices she isn't afraid to use a weapon. Natalie locks herself in the bathroom and aims the firearm at her head after Sean and Tara convince a neighbor, David, that they are family members of the proprietor. She pulls the trigger, but the security system is activated. That's all we know so far. Season 2 has yet to be announced, but fans may view the Season 1 trailer while it is still accessible. Fans are anxiously anticipating the Season 2 trailer. Season 1 has been somewhat thrilling from what we've seen, and Season 2 is predicted to surpass it. Fans are eager to see the faces from Season 1 once more. Next, Suspicion's stars evaluate Season 2 prospects. Suspicion is cast on 4 seemingly ordinary British citizens. Tech whiz Adesh, played by The Big Bang Theory's Kunal Nayyar, privileged student Eddie, played by White Line's Tom Rhys-Harries, Oxford academic Tara, played by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Elizabeth Henstridge, and high-flying financier Natalie, played by Black Mirror's Georgina Campbell, all of whom claim they were victims of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The 4 suspects flee the scene in order to avoid being apprehended by the National Crime Agency and the FBI, as well as to uncover the true perpetrators of the kidnapping. Henstridge feels the narrative works alone, but there's a big message they're attempting to get across, so you could feel like Season 1 ends with yet another question mark. When you get to the conclusion, audiences will have differing perspectives as to who was right in the end, what was worth it, and what wasn't. And the show does raise a lot of issues. It's a large idea of asking or deconstructing the truth and how it differs from person to person and corporation to corporation. Did the show live up to the cast's expectations? They anticipated a really high-quality program with really fantastic writing, a show in which people got to examine some extremely contemporary topics that they're living with, and they wanted greatness and a production that they were really proud of, according to Kunal Nayyar. Overall, they are quite pleased with their accomplishment and hope that everyone will join them on their journey. The thriller explores issues including corruption, public figures' misuse of power, and the dark side of monitoring and social media. According to Rhys-Harries, this show has been in the works for over 3 or 4 years, and it just so happens to seem extremely current in light of what's going on in the world right now. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you enjoyed our content, please smash that like button, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.